What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. I want to talk to you guys about something tonight that, if you want to live your life this way, I don't have a problem with that. But I want you guys to understand the truth. I want you guys to see clearly. I want you guys to always see a different viewpoint than what you really know or what you are led to believe, taught to believe, forced to believe, whatever you want to say. But it is the whole, like, food is a drug thing. Now, a lot of people go, well, Jerry, food's not the same thing as a drug. That's bullshit. Maybe to you it's not. But to many people, food is a drug. And there are varying degrees in how it acts like a drug in the brain. It doesn't turn you into, there are people that, like my 600-pound life, turns into absolute fucking drug addicts for food. There are other people that, you know, like you see these people that are doing heroin, that would be, you know, and they're all fucked up, no money, living in the gutter. That would be equivalent to the people in my 600-pound life. They're at their last leg and they need to fucking stop. Then you have the people that function properly, that take Vicodins all day long. The house moms take Vicodins, Ritalin. They're not at that extent, but they still have a problem. But they're able to live with the problem. Just because they're able to live with the problem, they're now in denial about actually having a problem. So there are people that eat food, they get a drug-like effect, but because they're not my 600-pound life and they think they can control it, they think that they're not addicted to it, they don't have a problem. That's fucking bullshit. There are varying degrees, and I know this through addiction. And some of the people that have addiction that I've been through plenty of problems with, food is one of those addictions. Now, I was on Instagram, and this, like, it's right in your face, but either you don't understand it, you don't see it, or you choose not to believe it in denial. One of those things is going on. So you have this thing, I was reading this thing that this girl posted, and she was like, oh, you know, no fucks given. First of all, when people say no fucks given, they give more fucks than anybody else. Like, that's just a way of them trying to act like they don't fucking care. But you know what? Fuck you. You care. That's why you're saying no fucks given. When you truly don't care, you don't even address it. But that being the point, where she had eaten something and she had kind of just binged herself and eaten something and made herself sick, right? And she said in the post, she was describing, she goes, you know what, like I was going to stick to my diet, but I just got to the, you know, the event and I said, fuck it. And I just said, I'm just going to go whatever I want tonight and go ham. I don't give a shit. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with the repercussions. Now, she already knows there's going to be repercussions, which means she's done this before, right? She knows what happens if she binges and eats these fucking foods. So she goes and binges on these foods and then proceeds to tell us like it was totally worth it, right? And I was like, what is totally worth it? So I'm reading, and she said that for 2 days, she was constipated, then had diarrhea, had stomach cramps, a distended abdomen, bloating, and headaches. That was what happened to her for 2 days before her body leveled out again, and she stopped fucking eating all that junk and started eating her regular diet again. Then she started to feel better. But it was so worth it. Right? So I took this information, I went to a friend of mine who's a girl, I said, hey, if I told you that every time you ate a food, and this girl that I know doesn't necessarily find food comforting, right? If I told you every time you ate a food, you would get the same reaction when you get your period. Stomach cramps, bloating, headaches, constipation, diarrhea, all those things would happen to you every time you ate a certain food. Would you eat it? She was like, no. Why the fuck would I do that to myself? I said, exactly. Now, here's the problem. If I go to the woman that I saw writing this on Instagram and I said, hey, here's the deal. Like, do you like getting your period? Do you like being sick? Do you like having the stomach flu? Do you like having, you know, the runs, having food poisoning? And she's like, no, that's fucking, why would I like any of that stuff? That's terrible. Like you just described. And you really, it's not, it is the same thing, but here's the difference. As she's eating this food, the dopamine rush that goes to her brain is like an opiate rush. She's getting the same type of rush. You don't feel high, but the rush is coming. The rush kind of offsets what she's feeling with the negatives. That is the exact example of having a problem. When you literally have the same exact feeling as your period, but you don't feel it the same way because the food is affecting your brain to make it feel like it's less of an effect, you now have a problem. You react to food or those specific foods or certain combinations of foods in the same way that an opiate addict reacts to a dose of opiates, that an alcoholic reacts to a drink. Your brain is getting that dopamine serotonin rush that makes you feel good, and you know that these consequences are coming, but you no fucks given, you don't care. For 2 days, you felt like you had the flu, your period, food poisoning, you felt those symptoms of all those fucking things, and you actually did it to yourself. It's not a natural hormonal thing. It's not like a sickness that you picked up somewhere. You forced it on yourself knowing it was going to happen, right? So I say, well, would you ever knowingly go out, and to the same girl that I was talking to before, would you ever knowingly go out and try to get the flu? Like, would you go out and fucking lick the fucking railing on the escalator or something, try to get the flu? And she's like, what the fuck? I'm like, would you go out and eat bad food to purposely give yourself the effects of food poisoning. And she's like, what the? And she's laughing. She's going, what the fuck are you talking about? When I finally told her that this person went out and ate food to get the reaction in her brain she wanted so badly that she was willing to have flu-like symptoms, food poisoning symptoms, and menstrual symptoms that she knew was going to happen when she did this, and she still went out and did it anyways. Do you see a problem with that, right? And the average person would go, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm not going to make myself sick. Why would I do anything to make myself sick? Well, would you eat this food if you knew it made you sick? The average person that doesn't have a problem would say, no, if it made me feel like shit, why would I eat it? Exactly. So now what we have here is a bunch of people that are online promoting the fact that they have a problem. Now they don't think they have one. They're in complete fucking denial. They will argue up and down and try to tell you how different it is. It's the same fucking thing. Take away that dopamine rush, you're feeling the same effects as those sicknesses. And you're doing it to yourself, knowing it's going to happen. Now me, myself, if I have the flu, I start thinking about everything I could have done leading up to when I got the flu to not get the flu. Wash my hands more, make sure that have hand sanitizer with me, make sure I take my multivitamin every day, take my multi-minerals every day. Maybe take some echinacea if it's a bad, season that it's an natural antibiotic. Take some echinacea, golden seal to try to make sure that I'm staying healthier. Like, I hate being sick so much, and the average person does, that they would do anything in their power when they're sick to not be sick. They would make any change. If somebody's super sick with a stomach flu and they're just constantly throwing up and they're like, look, I never want this to happen again. Like, however the fuck this happened, like, I'm gonna go live on a desert island. You start thinking about things because like 24 hours of that sickness feels like 10 months. Like, you'll do anything to not be sick. But these people that have food problems make themselves sick. They have the adverse reaction to it because they're eating more than they should. And they're eating chemicals. They're eating fucking stuff. That reaction, that pain in the stomach, the bloating of it, the fucking headaches, all of that feeling, the water retention in the face is a response from your body telling you that it doesn't like what the fuck you just did. It's telling you not to do that again. And then your brain, because your body hates it, but your brain loves it because it gets that fucking rush. So what happens is a few days go by after you're done being sick, you forget about how bad the sickness was. And then your brain starts telling you again, like, yo, I want some more of that shit, right? Whatever the fuck you ate, it's like, yo, I want some more of that shit. McDonald's is a perfect example. If I eat McDonald's, I want McDonald's the next day. I haven't eaten McDonald's in about fucking 10 years. Literally, I haven't had Burger King in like 2 or 3 years. And I don't crave it. I don't want it. As soon as I eat it, I feel bloated. I feel disgusting. Now, because my body is cleaned out and my brain doesn't like that anymore. When I was younger, my brain used to like to have that shit. It didn't know any better. I was constantly eating fast food as a kid. So I got accustomed to it. So when you take it away, your body starts to crave it. Like, I have lived through this stuff myself. It's not an addiction for me, although people would say, Jerry, somebody who's addicted would deny it just like that. You're in denial. But I did have effects from the food that makes me go, I don't want those foods anymore. Like, they may taste good, but the taste is not so important to me that I feel like shit and crave those foods again and again and again and have those foods on my mind all the time, where it controls my brain and it controls my mood and it controls what I want to eat. It does the thinking for me because my brain wants that food so bad because it wants to rush again. Like, I've been through all that shit. Diet Coke is a perfect example. I was drinking like a half a gallon of Diet Coke a day till I fucking cut it out. I must have been it was so hard for me to cut out Diet Coke because my brain was getting some kind of signal that it really liked. And when I really stepped back and go, I need to drink more water, and I had Diet Coke and water both in the house, and I was trying to drink more water, I was having a hard time staying away from the Diet Coke. Like, it was fucking incredible, the pull to Diet Coke. And this is somebody who had a drug-addicted past. So I understand these feelings and impulses and what happens and how the brain reacts to things firsthand, not from a goddamn textbook. The problem is, food you need to live. So people look at food as like, well, drugs you don't need to live. So like alcohol you don't need to live. So that's stuff that like you choose to do, but I have to eat. So it can't affect me like that. Bullshit. Those people in my 600-pound life, food has affected them to the point where they're going to fucking die. They've pushed the human body to the absolute fucking limit. 1,000 pounds one guy was. No human body is meant to be 1,000 pounds, but that fucking impulse to your brain from eating food was so strong that if you put a fucking heroin user that's on their fucking last leg and you put that guy who's 1,000 pounds and wire their brains up to fucking see the activity, when one takes a shot of heroin, that guy eats a fucking pizza. It's the same fucking exact activity. But we also have those lesser ones. So now people can say, well, those are people with real problems, but the people that just take some Vicodins every day, but if they stop taking the Vicodins, they get sick. They take them every day, they can still function. Just because you are not bedridden at 1,000 pounds doesn't mean you don't have a fucking problem with food. I've had people in my life that simply could not give up foods. Could not. Not that they didn't want to, they could not do it. They tried and failed. and then eventually rationalized it and kind of said, well, it's just food. It's not a big deal anyways. I don't have a problem. Anything you can't, like if someone comes up to you and says, you can't have this or do this for the rest of your life. Now you may be like, well, fuck, that sucks. But okay, if you say, fuck you, I'm divorcing you, I'm leaving you, fuck you, doctor, you know what you're talking about, fuck the world, fuck everybody, I'm doing what the fuck I want, you have a problem. You may not realize it, you may not agree with it, but I go, fuck what you realize or agree. The problem is you need somebody to fucking tell you that you have a problem. And this fucking girl on Instagram had a fucking problem making herself sick and enjoying the fact that she was sick, then complaining about it 2 or 3 days afterwards, saying there's no fucks given, it was so worth it, I'd do it again. It's like, when's the last time you had the flu or a stomach fucking bug or food poisoning and was like, as soon as you're done, like, I can't wait to do that again. Fuck it, no fucks given, I'll get sick again, cool. Never fucking happened. But people don't look at it that way. They just look at it as, I think a lot of people identify with her, right? They agree with her because they like to do that shit too. They like to eat shit that fucks them up and it makes them feel like they're normal. Here's the deal. When I was a kid, that didn't happen. These chemicals in the fucking food, the things that they make these fucking foods out of have changed the way your brains, my brain, everybody's brains react. And that is causing a major fucking problem. If you don't see that, that's fine. If you don't want to believe, you want to live in denial, that's fine. But mark my fucking words, you watch this video, there's going to come a day in your life where something is fucked up because of what you did with food. You're going to have to face that fucking fact, but you'll probably be in denial anyways. But eventually, you're going to have a professional with a PhD behind their name sitting across the table from you wearing a fucking lab coat telling you, you have to stop this because you are going to fucking die. Plain and simple, you took that shit too far and you're going to fucking die. When that day finally comes, you might still be in fucking denial and go get 3 other people's fucking opinions that are all the same. And you still might be in denial. But it is what it is, guys. This is the truth. This is real life. These are fucking facts. And if you don't like them, I don't know what to tell you. It's still the truth. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's not fucking true or it ceases to be real. But this is the world we live in, and we're going to have to face it sooner or later. If you are one of those people making you sick while you eat, you have a fucking problem. Period. BioStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is the blog. You may have a problem bicep, you may not, but you may, and we are out.